welcome to Assen in the Netherlands. It's the 16th round of the FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship, where Paul Jonas on the Red Bull Factory KTM has a 4-point advantage over the Honda Garibaldi rider Tim Geiser. Max Anstey 34 points further back in third on the Monster Energy DRT Kawasaki. He has been in scintillating form in the last 8 motos, picking up 7 wins out of the last 8 rides. Valentin Guillot is 4th and Jeffrey Hurlings is 5th, but Hurlings not here at his home race for the first time since 2010. This is where we are, right up north this weekend, and we are at the famous Assen TT road race circuit, where 25,000 cubic meters of sand have been dumped over the road race circuit to turn it into a motocross track. Just over 1,500 meters long, but we have a great crowd here coming out to support the race here this weekend. A great atmosphere, and it's very, very bumpy as well. The sand very, very heavy. And if you are just joining us for the first time this weekend, haven't been watching the European Championship races on MXGPTV.com, let's take a quick look at the circuit in more detail. Here's our GoPro track preview.
Jordan Lieber, 33, standing Conswick, Yamaha, Yamaha.
Dean Ferris, 111, Wilbo Nestan, Husqvarna Factory Racing.
It's about 80 meters or so down into turn 1, very, very wide down the start straight as well, because of how they rejoin and have that extra space down the right-hand side. Through the right-hander at turn 1, about slightly more than 90 degrees, and then immediately into turn 2, and there are 6 gigantic waves that are getting bigger as every lap goes by with all the racing that we've had out on track. Lots of square edge bumps through there as well. Out of turn 3, short burst into turn 4, and then we are over the first of the Monster Energy jumps, right in front of the main grandstand areas. It's choppy, it's unpredictable, it's deep, and it will be a real test for the riders. Through the little right, left, right, down the back straight, over the next tabletop jump here, and we arrive at turn 8. This 180 switchback left. This is off the road race track, going through the fence, down through the pit lane area, across the front of the garages, over the pond jumps, a slight crest there, just enough to upset the balance of the bike. Another one towards the end of the straight as well, braking bumps all over the place, deep, deep sand, under the crossing, and then into what is normally the paddock area, through this right, over a crest, and again, the suspension really being upset there as they approach the Monster Energy jump. See how hard the riders have to work. 3 giant waves through here, and these ones have just been created from the amount of riding over the course of the weekend. Just to the left there is the Monster Energy bleachers. Turn right, a 180, short straight into this left. The berms really big, the holes even bigger through that part of the racetrack. The guys up on the pegs pretty much for the entire lap here, through the final right-hand corner. And it's almost like a double apex ride. This is a run towards the Monster Energy finish line jump. Cross that, and we land back on the start straight to start another lap as the riders head down past pit lane. So we are here at the Assen TT circuit, a great crowd in the stands here this weekend, but one rider who is missing, the Red Bull KTM Factory KTM rider, Jeffrey Hurlings, former World Championship leader, former 2-time World Champion. Here he is on the grid with Lisa Leyland.
Hello and welcome to the grid of the first MX2 race of the day. And joining me is a man that has had a tough few weeks, and actually a tough couple of years, in fact. It's Jeffrey Hurlings. Jeffrey, firstly, it's fantastic to have you back. And you're smiling, which is a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, I could be crying, but that's also not so nice. So obviously, it's a shame I'm not racing. I'm really unfortunate to come here and watch. And you know, as I said, I would love to be racing. It's a great track, a great atmosphere, something I really wanted to be a part of. But obviously, I'm watching this year, so hopefully, I'm racing next year.
Jeffrey, give us an update on the injury, on the recovery. When can we expect you back? Tell us, we want to know everything because we've missed you.
Yeah, definitely. You know, everything is going really well. My recovery is going very good. Obviously, I got a lot of time to recover now, so I really hope to be back somewhere in December, back on the bike, and get a good winter. That's what I missed this year. That's why I've been unfortunate all the time, because I wasn't fit all year long. So hopefully be back on the bike in December and get another championship, man. It's just so unfortunate to lose 2 years in a row with an injury. So hopefully the third time is a lucky shot.
Give us your thoughts on Pauls Jonas, your teammate, wrapping up the championship. So far, he's 4 points in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, everything can happen. You know, it's only 4 points and it's a very small point gap. But I think he's really strong here today. I told him just stay out of trouble and finish the season. You know, a lot of riders got injured, unfortunate, and I was one of them. So I think Pauls can finish off the season as a world champ, but he needs to be smart and stay healthy. And it's 3 more weeks, so he got some good tracks coming. I think this suits him very well, and I really hope he can keep it in the KTM family.
That's the thing for the KTM family. It's actually been a really tough season, hasn't it? MXGP and MX2. So Pauls is kind of, there's no pressure, but it's all kind of riding on him for the year, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's the only one left, pretty much. You know, I got injured in the MX1, all the boys got injured, so he's the last man standing, but he's looking very good all weekend long, so I really hope he can pull it off. You know, normally it was my job to get the championship in, but hopefully he can do it for me.
Jeffrey, it's so good to see you smiling and in good spirits. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the rest of your day. Jeffrey Hurling's there. Time now for MX2 Race 1.
So the championship looks like this then as we come into the 16th round. Pauls Jonas 4 points clear of Tim Geiser. Anstey another 34 points further back, 38 off the lead. And Guillaume Hurling's obviously not riding. Siwa, Tixier not here as well. And Lieber in 8th, so he could make some ground today. Benoit Patrel is 9th and Petr Petrov is in 10th place. So the riders out on their sighting lap. Max Anstey there, Pauls Jonas, 172, Brent Van Donnick. He had a good qualifying race yesterday. And you'll see how that went in just a couple of moments' time, because we will be bringing you the qualifying highlights as usual. Jeffrey Hurling's there, obviously wishing he was out on track, but here on his crutches after his recent injury in Sweden. But good to have him here, good to have a great crowd here as well. We'll talk more about that in a moment with my guest, Jan Postema, who's in charge of the Motocross Academy, the MXGP Academy. But before we bring him in, let's give you a quick look at what happened yesterday in the MX2 qualifying race. And it was a tough racetrack that laid ahead of the riders. First time here for everybody, but at Assen TT circuit, everything looking good. The 5-second board turn, the gate drop, and it was a run down to the start straight. On board here with Max Anstey on the GoPro, but he didn't make the greatest start. In fact, it was number 85 on the Red Bull KTM, David Puches, who got the whole shot. Alongside him was Harry Kulas on the Wilvo-Nastan factory Husqvarna. Thomas Covington, Julian Lieber, Valentin Guillaume all ahead of Max Anstey at this stage. There's Lieber there on our GoPro, just trying to get through the first lap or so. Lieber found himself alongside Covington and got himself up to 4th by the end of the first lap, behind David Puches and Harry Kulas, Jeremy Siwa. But 3 or 4 corners later, David Puches, 85, was just pushing a little bit too hard, lost control of his KTM, remounted in 8th place and eventually came back to 10th place. And that was the reaction from the crowd as they were pointing out the obvious. Kulas went through in the lead. Siwa was there in 2nd position. 3rd was Watson, 4th was Lieber, and Pauls Jonas put this pass on Max Anstey to get himself into 5th in the early stages. The Kawasaki rider being pushed back to 6th place as Petr Petrov crashed in turn 2 at the start of lap 2. Petrov would eventually come home in 20th place, but no one suspected this from the Finn. 151, Harry Kulas, who was up front and making it look very, very easy on what was a very difficult racetrack. Jeremy Siwa was well placed in 2nd. Ben Watson was 3rd, but then shortly after this as well, through the first wave section, he crashed out spectacularly as well. And Ben Watson would eventually come home a little bit lower down the order in 11th place. But Siwa was being caught by Lieber and Anstey. Valentin Guillaume had already gone out on lap 2 and just landed on his shoulder, and it was Lieber who fell. Around about lap 5, he fell from 3rd, picked himself up in 9th, eventually came back to 9th place after going up and down a few times in that period. Thomas Covington had a good qualifying race. Eventually, the Monster Energy Kawasaki rider there, number 64, would come home in 5th place. Tim Geiser a little bit further back on the Garibaldi Honda, aggressive as usual, but not able to have any impact on the guys at the head of the field, although he did find his way past Julian Lieber to get himself into 8th with 2 laps to go. But Harry Kulas, though, was a man on a mission. He did have a 10-second advantage over Max Anstey at one stage, but Anstey was clawing down the deficit, got it to within about 3 seconds in the closing stage of the race. But Jeremy Seewer eventually dropped to 7th after being caught and passed by Brian Bogers, Thomas Covington and Brent Van Donnick. But it was a win for Harry Kulas, his first qualifying race win in MX2. Anstey was 2nd, Jonas 3rd, Van Donnick, Covington, your top 5. So up on the podium then, Lee Van Dam there, the 3rd guy on the left. The CEO of the MXGP Assen here, and alongside me actually another ex-rider and a coach, and somebody who lives not a million miles away from here, Jan Postema, in charge of the MXGP Academy. This is a start list, that's how they qualified yesterday, but we just saw Jan Postema, some dignitaries up there on top step of the podium, just welcoming the fans, I guess. Lee Van Dam, one of them, and I guess it's because of him that we are here.
Yeah, the combination between me as a rider and Lee as an organizer has been out there for a while. We both live in Assen, we both live in the town. So, I mean, this is just absolutely amazing. All the crowd, all the riders are happy. I mean, we are happy. All the girls, everybody can show up without getting dirty. So it's absolutely magnificent.
And it was a great atmosphere yesterday, especially when Davy Pooches grabbed the whole shot in the MX2 qualifying race, and Glenn Holdenhoff in the MXGP qualifying race. The crowd, and we've got a bigger crowd today as well, so it should be absolutely electric in terms of what the fans experience, what the riders experience, and you guys as organisers as well. It's a big risk to come to a road race circuit not knowing that, coming from a traditional circuit, you know, that is the big unknown, but it's paying off, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really paying off. I mean, the pressure that we've got, that Lee's got, that everybody's trying. A lot of people are like, oh, should you do it? Should you do it? I think we just went ahead, and it's amazing. It's really great what you look at. I mean, the soil is nice. It's the first year, so we're really, really pleased. And now everybody says, well, it was a good idea.
Well, we're just looking at the doghouse there a moment ago. The box, Harry Kulas went to the left, our right, and Anstey. So the 2 guys who were 1st and 2nd, either side of the box in the centre of the grid. There is Tim Geiser. He finished 8th in the qualifying race yesterday. Not sure exactly where he lined up, but we'll see it when we get a wide shot. But other than helping with the organisation, there's Geiser just towards the left of the screen, so about 10 gates in from the right-hand side as he lines up. But you're heavily involved still in the MXGP Academy. What is that? Tell us a little bit more about it.
The Academy is really showing and explaining to kids that is a job. It's an enjoyable job, that's not the issue, but explaining them how to treat their sponsor, how to treat their parents, the parents how they treat the kids, leave them alone for a while, learn them how to fly and don't lift them everywhere. The Academy is also for safety. Now, yesterday, the first MX8 certificates were given to 12 kids. That's going to be the start. So I hope in the future you will need a certificate before you can go on the bike on the track. To make it more safe and more reliable and take the danger off people that don't know anything about motocross.
And on some occasions they are at the races, aren't they? They come in on a Friday, they do some laps, 5 minutes on this corner, 5 minutes on that straight, just to give themselves an idea of what it's like to ride these circuits, I presume.
Yes, it's great.
Obviously it teaches them, like you say, about the things they look out for in terms of wanting to be a professional motocross racer. Well, the Tag Heuer 15-second board has gone up. We're getting ready to go racing here. Remember, Paul Jonas, Tim Geiser separated by 4 points in the battle for the MX2 title race. Max Anstey just 34 points off, 38 off the lead. The gate ready to drop here. There is Geiser on the inside, about 7 or 8 over on the left, and a little bit of bar banging action. But it's Anstey and Pooches, or is it Jonas? Jonas, oh, Pooches, I think. So Pooches, Anstey, and in fact the 2 KTMs. 1st and 2nd. So Pooches with the foxhole shot, Jonas there in 2nd, Anstey in 3rd. Looks like Covington in 4th place as they disappear around the first couple of corners. So the 2 young KTM stars, we've got yellows over in the wave section. There'll be no Jens Getterman starting the race. He crashed in that section in the warm-up session this morning. We're still waiting to hear on news of him at the moment, but look at the crowd here. And we're going over on the far side of the circuit. So Puches leads, just like he did yesterday. Jonas right there behind him in second. There would have been a wall of noise generated as they went through that first few corners in support of the Dutch kid here, Davy Puches, but already starting to pull away from third place Max Anstey, who might look at this and say, you know what, the track is difficult, let's just settle in for a few laps here. There's Lieber in fourth place, Covington in fifth. Great start though, Jan Postema for the young Dutch kid, Davy Puches.
The crowd is going berserk if he's on top. Doing a couple laps on the first place would be awesome. It's hard to continue leading it, but
a slight mistake there from Pauls Jonas. He's under the watchful eye of Stefan Everts, of course, former 10-time world champion. He's been managing the KTM Junior Factory team this year before moving on to Pastures New next year, we believe. But Pauls Jonas around the outside of his younger teammate, who started off in the European 250 class this year, takes a look over his shoulder, and he went too wide there, tried to cut back. But Jonas right there, so Jonas now leads the way.
Yeah, it's clever. Teammates, you don't get in the way of the guy that's touching a red plate, so clever approach to do it. Now he can follow, look at different lines. Great young kid.
You can hear the crowd in our headset here, so talking to one or two riders yesterday, that wall of noise. Right, here's the pass. Jonas coolly pulled a tear off, but then Puches went all the way over, took Matt another 20 meters to get down the straight. Jonas was a lot shorter, but once he realized he was there, allowed him through, and it's Jonas who now leads. Anstey still third. So the noise then generated out on the track has Puches there in second position. It'll be something like a football crowd that these guys are experiencing.
Yeah, the guys can really hear it on the bike. See the sound of the people. Puches was really impressed yesterday. I mean, he's a young kid, and then you hear all the crowd, what you never hear on the motocross track normally. The kid is just having a lot of fun out here.
And Anstey looking to crash the party as well, because he's got the two Red Bull KTMs ahead of him. The Monster Energy DRT Kawasaki, the number 99, Max Anstey in third place. He cannot afford for Pauls Jonas to take points out of him this weekend, because, like I say, he is 38 off of Pauls Jonas, the championship leader, who's disappearing out of sight there, looking at checking out if he can. More importantly, Tim Geiser, fifth place in the race. Anstey could do with taking some points out of him as well, because he is the one without the pressure, isn't he, Jan Postema, in terms of the championship. He's 38 points. It's almost like he's relying on a mistake from Jonas or Tim Geiser if he's to claw those points back in the next 6 races.
Yeah, but Anstey really has grown. The last 4 Grand Prix, I'm amazed what he does. He's like, from the kid, he grew up. He grew up in 4 races. Really, really perfect.
Well, Anstey looking for a way through. Anstey just looking for a way through here. Look at the backpack grandstand there here at Assen TT Circuit, but Pauls Jonas, look at him, 2 seconds clear, sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:34.3. Jonas a 1:36.6, Anstey 1:35.1, heading over into turn 8. The tight right-hander at the end of the straight here as they switch back down the pit lane area on the MotoGP circuit. See how tough the conditions are. The sand here, Jan, has been brought in from a military ground, hasn't it? Just, what, a couple of kilometers away, less than that?
No, less. It's less than a kilometer away, and you can see that Anstey has been riding so much in Holland, so much in the sand. He's really clever. He can read the sand, because you have to read the sand what it does. If it's a little bit dark, it might have more grip, more tire will be easier, but this is just great. Puches is doing nice.
Yeah,
happy
great
for the kid.
And you know, living in Assen and obviously having something to do with the event as well, being a Dutchman, of course, great to see Puches up there. But Anstey hard down the inside, takes second away from the young kid, Puches. But it's a drag race towards the finish line. Kawasaki versus KTM. Anstey, though, able to cut across as he lands over the Monster Energy finish line jump. So 2 laps complete. Pauls Jonas is still the fastest rider on track at 1:33.9 now. 35.7 for Anstey, 36.4 for Puches. One of the toughest parts of the racetrack there, and Puches getting out of shape. Did he keep it up on 2 wheels? Here's Harry Kulas. He was the qualifying race winner. No, he didn't. He crashed, and he's gone behind Julian Lieber. So Lieber, he's going to be in 4th. Watch this. Just gets out of shape. Ran it too wide and caught the deep stuff. Didn't actually crash, did he? Just went into... oh, he stalled it. No. We had a lot of rain, didn't we, for 2 days coming into this event. And obviously you see all the water just laying on the edge of the circuit there. So David Pooch is very lucky to get away with that, yeah.
Absolutely. You can see how dark the sand is. There's a lot of water. We had a lot of rain last week. We had quite a bit of rain last night. But the soil just keeps it and takes it, and we're really happy we don't have too much hardpack stuff here, when else we would have a problem. But with the track, with the sand, and we're very thankful to the military so we can use it. We're going to bring it back though. From Monday on, we're going to bring it back. So on Thursday, the track is available for roads, bikes and cars again.
Yeah, and I heard that, you know, it's a 2-week circuit rent, isn't it, in terms of, you know, 4 or 5 days to get the track prep, the GP itself, and then 4 or 5 days to take it out and clean it back up again.
Yeah, that's a big job.
Yeah.
Absolutely a big job.
And I would expect quite a big expense as well in terms of, you know, having to rent the circuit. But it looks like it's paying off. The great crowd here this weekend proving that. But look at Tim Geiser around the outside of David Pooch's. He needs to go forward because his championship is on the line here. The Honda Garibaldi rider forced to go the long way round. Difficult to turn tight there because of how deep the first corner is. And you see there, Tim Geiser not able to get through.
We can also see Poaches really...
but he has gone through now.
He has passed him, yep.
Just looking,
straight line.
Just looking down the order, Valentin Guillot in 17th place. He crashed through that wave section yesterday on the second lap of the race in the qualifier, and he banged his shoulder pretty hard. He's had the cryotherapy overnight, ice on, ice off, 140 degrees minus, getting all that sorted. But his championship effectively over if he stays down there in 17th position. As we said last week in Mantova, the championship race really coming down to 3 riders: Paul Jonas, Tim Geiser and Anstey, the same 3 guys that stood on the top steps of the podium in Italy. There is Valentin Guillot on the standing construct Yamaha Yamalu. You can see he is not looking relaxed at all. Anstey.
Oh, big time.
Anstey.
You see the back fender?
Yeah, and that is not good for Anstey. That's coming out of turn 8.
Yep.
And Anstey, it's all over for him now. He lost 25 vital points in the Czech Republic. His championship hopes now have definitely taken a big hit. So Anstey, we don't have the crash, but Anstey is down and out. There's Guillot just behind him. There's Watson alongside him. So this is around about 16th, 17th place. In fact, Karel Kutsar there, 132. So Anstey then definitely got his work cut out here. 22 minutes plus 2 laps to go. And it's Jonas. Jonas is leading the way. And he has a, 1.5 second advantage over Julian Lieber in that second place on the standing construct Yamaha. There's his teammate there, Valentin Guillot. But Max Anstey, how expensive a mistake is that for him? He comes over the line in 13th, 14th position. Let's have a look. Anstey goes through in 14th. He's got Jeremy Seward just ahead of him, so he's got some big names just ahead of him here. Going to make his work very, very difficult indeed.
And the sand is not forgiving. You make a mistake, you're slow, and you're on the ground before you can even think. It's a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work. Too bad though. Too bad for him.
Thomas Covington here, number 64, on the Monster Energy Kawasaki. He's found his way past David Pooches. He's now up in the 5th place. So Pooches being pushed down to 6th now. There he is just in the background. Then Harry Kulas just behind him. He's now up at 7th. So we've got Jonas leading the way, Julian Lieber 2nd, Geiser 3rd, Van Donnick is 4th, and Kulas forces his way down the inside. He had a very impressive ride in qualifying yesterday, didn't he, Jan?
You can see the big difference. He's looking for different lines. He's looking for flat stuff. He's really looking. I mean, if you are a good rider, you need to look where you're going. In the sand, every lap there's new. It's completely new. The lines are different. The lines are more deep. So watch, watch, watch. Bogue is really losing a little bit extra now. Huh?
Yeah, because Petrov also going through. Finished 20th in the qualifying race yesterday. Petrov on that Monster Energy Kawasaki. He went off track at turn 2, right at the start of the race, started the second lap. And just took him a while to get going, but he'll be pleased with the fact that he's up there circulating inside the top 10 and with a lot of work, a lot of time still on the clock. But Jonas 2.2 seconds clear, has yet to win a race, Paul's Jonas, and yet to win an overall Grand Prix. Well, that just got easier, that job, in terms of where Max Anstey is, in terms of Anstey was definitely putting a charge on. But Geiser, where is he? He's there in the background. Look, there are your first three, all on the same piece of racetrack. Julian Lieber could be the danger man here.
Absolutely.
On that standing construct Yamaha.
And you can see also he's following. You can look what the lines are, and it's you're very experienced. You know how difficult this is. You pull the bike, you push the bike. There's no sitting down and relax. It's up there, on there, all the time.
And look how Lieber was just bouncing his way through those chicanes there, you know, doubling, tripling some of those holes and just keeping that momentum going. Right, let's take another look at the start. Gate dropped. And Tim Geiser didn't make too bad a jump, but it was Davy Puchis all the way over there. Look, number 85 grabbed the foxhole shot ahead of his teammate, Paul Jonas. Mac Anstey just got pushed wide there on the exit of the turn. Geiser around the outside in red into turn 2. Back here with Paul Jonas, so he's the championship leader, red number plate, and he looks like he's put a bit of distance between himself and Julian Lieber. Hasn't won a race, but in the last, well, since Latvia, he's taken, what, second 2 times in Latvia, twice in Belgium, a second in the first race in Italy. So he's showing some decent speed. And Jeffrey Hurlings at the start of the race on the pre-grid interview saying that, you know, he's got some good tracks and he believes that he can lift the World Championship. Well, when you watch him ride here, he's riding without pressure, isn't he, Jan Postema?
He's a very happy guy. I mean, we were there with the academy, talked to him, he was smiling and having fun. And also I talked to Roger Paulin, and he said, we're having fun. And if you have fun, you can do it.
And Steve trying to make an aggressive move.
To do it, exactly. But these guys are having fun because that's their thing they like to do, and it's an awesome situation on this road racing track with dirt. Great to see the guys pushing us so much.
And they are pushing, and we do have a proper racetrack, don't we? What, 3-4 feet of sand on top of the racetrack, so a lot of sand going in as Anstey looking to go down the outside. He might look to square the Suzuki. He does so. We've seen that on more than one occasion today in all the various races that we've had, but see, we're getting good drive heading down towards turn 9. This is where Anstey crashed about 3 laps ago out of third place, second place. So definitely getting his head down now. 17 minutes to go. That puts Anstey up into 12th place. He is 28, almost 29 seconds down on the leader. But watch this here. Down the inside. Yeah. Made it work. Couldn't get across straight away though, could he?
Anstey is really pushing it. I mean, I really, as a trainer point of view, motocross training, he is a guy that really moves with his body. Elbows out. He's the guy that really does a nice job on the track. But you have to be a bit lucky.
Goggles complaining about goggles. Look, he's just put his hand towards his goggles as he goes past pit lane. So I wonder whether he's got, sometimes roll-offs, they stick to the lens, don't they? And,
they do. With a little moisture, sometimes they stick.
Yeah, and he's down in 9th place at the moment there on that number 189, the white HSF Logistics Motorsport KTM. That's an impressive team, isn't it? A Dutch team. You know, they've had some good performances this year, and you know, that it's an impressive outfit. They've not been around that long.
No, they do a good job. John van der Berg is training the guys for a long time. Martin van Genderen is, he's also, they were both involved with the academy, but Martin is really a guy with 25 years of experience of running teams. John van der Berg and I were in the same team, Yamaha Caballero. John got world champion. I got 11th, I think, or 12th or whatever. But John was just winning and Martin was taking care of us.
Yeah.
In every way.
Yeah, been around a long time, like you said.
Yeah.
But 15.5 minutes to go, plus 2 laps. Paul Jonas leads still, 2.6 seconds clear of Julian Lieber. Tim Geiser is 3rd, Brent Van Donink is 4th, 3 seconds further back. Then it's Thomas Covington in 5th place, Harry Kulas 6th, Petrov 7th, Puch is 8th, Burgers 9, and Monticelli is in 10th. We're looking at Ivan Monticelli here on the Marchetti Racing Team KTM, the rider number 128 in 10th place. And announced yesterday that he will be one of 3 young riders in the Motocross of Nations for Team Italy. The other 2 being Samuele Bernardini on the factory TM, but he went missing a few laps ago. Behind, well, the other rider as well, Michele Cervelin from the European 250 category, because obviously Tony Cairoli ruling himself out. And they've elected to go with a young team to give them the experience, because maybe next year, as Thomas Travasini, the team manager for Team Italy, was saying, we might need one of these 3 guys or more to take part in the Motocross of Nations at Majora in 2016. So give them the experience now while they're young. I guess that's something you would agree with.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, also with the academy, we show the kids, we bring them to the teams, we show them that is hard work, that he has to be really good organized. And if you bring in the younger riders, it can help them the next year. They can get 10-15% faster because they know what it is. They're not nervous. They just do it and get the job done. And yeah, that's good.
Tim Geiser in third. Honda Garibaldi. This is not too bad for his championship. Right, Valentin Guillot, we're told, had a mistake. So Guillot, oh yeah, off the side of the track, coming in towards the final turn. And just losing ground there, so 17th for Valentin Guillot. Just stuck on the Armco fencing there. But Tim Geiser, well, he arrived here 4 points down on Pauls Jonas as Tony Cairoli looks on. Jonas would move to 500 points. Geiser would slip 5 points further back. 9 now adrift of Geiser. Anstey, though, how expensive was that mistake for him? He's on 4.46. He was 38 down on the leader, 34 down on Geiser, but he is circulating in 12th place, so he's only picking up 9 points here compared to the 25 of Pauls Jonas and the 20 of Tim Geiser. And with only 5 motos left after this one, Jan Postema, he has given himself a massive mountain to climb if he was to challenge. I know anything can still happen, but the consistency of Jonas and Geiser might just be too much to overcome.
Yeah, and the other thing is that Jonas has an awesome team. And that makes a difference. The guys get the information, they can count, they have all the information from the professional people that take care of them. So it's just going to be very, very difficult for Max to pull it through.
Just looking at Brent Van Donnick, he's in 4th place there on that Kimiya Yamaha Yamalou machine, the young Belgian. Had his first taste of Grand Prix action in Argentina, round 3, where he got a 9th in the first race. Got a 5th in the first race in Italy in Maggiore in the Murder, 6th in the first race in Sweden. But this would be his best finish, and it would be a good place to do it as well, because obviously Belgium not too far away from here. We're only, what, 2 hours drive from Amsterdam?
Yeah, 2 hours from Amsterdam for sure. Yeah, we can see Van Donnick is coming a long way and is really kept going, really proud. And with a knee problem this year, it looks pretty good. So I think he's sorted out a serious piece of knee braces to keep going riding, and the operation wasn't necessary then.
Decent ride as well for Thomas Covington. So over the line then, the first 5 guys, 10 laps complete. Pauls Jonas, Julian Lieber, Tim Geiser, Brent Van Donnick and Thomas Covington here in 5th place. Just behind him, Harry Kulas right there looking to close in on the 151. Wilvo Nastan Husqvarna factory machine, definitely turning in some decent lap times compared to Thomas Covington. But that time around, Covington was slightly quicker, 139.7 compared to a 40.1.
It looks like Kulas is really timing it a little better, and the energy now it's counting. Last 10, 11 minutes, it's going to be tough. And the moment your upper body goes down in the sand, your history.
Yeah.
No chance.
Well, in terms of Harry Kulas, he was given an opportunity here, wasn't he? Because Alex Tomkov was injured, and he's been given this factory bike. A lot of people would think, okay, that's a big thing, that's pressure. First time out, got a 3rd overall in Latvia, and he's won his qualifying race yesterday. And for him, he's taken the opportunity with both hands, hasn't he? And the team said, look, you probably won't go to the 2 flyaway races, but it's confirmed now that he will finish the season with Wilvo Nastan Husqvarna Factory Racing and compete for Estonia in the Motocross of Nations as well. So they've given him that bike for the rest of the season, which is a good decision, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, they're a really good team. Jackie Martin's really pulling through, has a lot of experience. And that's the difference. I mean, get the chance, grab it. Any way you do, if you go to school, if you have study or whatever you do, have the opportunity, grab it. And he grabbed it with both hands.
Well, 3rd overall in Latvia, 5th overall in Lommel. But here he is, looking to go after Covington. 10 minutes to go. Thomas Covington, Monster Energy Kawasaki, number 64, the young American. He's got his hands full of Harry Kulas, who's closed down that gap right down as a rider goes off. Anton Lundgren, 274 on the Husqvarna, just getting it wrong through the chicane on this mid part of this straight here. Tim Geiser, Honda Garibaldi is all over the back of Julian Lieber now in that battle for second position. Where's Jonas? Jonas right there at the end of the straight. So the first three guys separated by about 3 seconds. And Jonas yet to win a race, of course. There's been talk over the weekend that he could win the title without winning a race or a Grand Prix. Of course, Steve Ramon won it without winning a Grand Prix in 2007, but he did win a race or two in MX1 when Josh Coppins lost out. But at the end of the day, the record books will show that you're a world champion or not. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. But you see, these guys are so extremely fit. Doing this, and sometimes even the last lap being the fastest one, it's very, very impressive. I think in the old
yes, great move, aggressive move
awesome
down the
move.
inside. But that was a mistake from Lieber, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He just started dancing around on the way
Going into the corner, he failed a little bit, and then the speed goes down because your front wheel sticks in the sand, and you have no chance.
How tight was that?
He's not scared.
No, he's not scared, but that was a big risk, getting that close to a back marker going into turn one, because we saw how deep that is through there.
But if you're that young as those guys, I think you don't think.
But from Geiser's point of view, 4 points in it at the start of the day between him and Jonas. Jonas, obviously, is the guy in front of him now, the leader. Geiser second. They're 2.5 seconds apart. Geiser is going after the race win. He wants that gap down from 4 to 1 as they go into the second race.
If you see the leading guy and you know you need the points, you see him, you're close up within 2 seconds, you're going to go for it.
But these are the first two riders in the World Championship. Jonas leading the race is the World Championship leader. Geiser here, second in the race, second in the championship. That gap at the moment, 7 points.
Yeah, what can you wish for more? I mean, this is what we want to see. And both teams are really professional and really great, so it's up to the kids. And they're both young.
So,
do miss Jeffrey, though.
Jeffrey, I think Jeffrey would have been impressive around here because this deep sand has got his name written all over it. But he's not here.
No.
These guys are having to deal with it. They're making it look very, very easy. Although some of them are making it look very difficult because it is difficult, as you said.
It is extremely
difficult. Too deep there for Geiser.
The back marker was really nice, huh? Paying attention.
Sometimes, though, you have to follow, don't you? He got out of there, he thought, right, let's just change the line. Because it's the shortest route through, he would have been better off following Ivanov. Look how deep that was. He wasn't looking ahead. The berm had already been destroyed there.
Yeah, that's the thing in the sand. You have to look what's happens in front of you because you're off the track in no time. And every lap it changes. The rut got deeper, the berm is gone. It's really, really difficult.
He's already got 3 race wins under his belt. Tim Geiser! Julian Lieber just getting a big hit through the rhythm section there. That is a very, very tough section. Let's have a look at it again. Julian Lieber here, he got good drive, the back end just steps out and then loses traction on the face of the next one. Upper body strength, the key there to saving that. And Jan Postema, that was very, very lucky.
His body stayed too long to the back. And then you're like in the deep snow with your skis. It's the same. The moment you're too far back, you have no energy to pull it. You're just leaning all the way back, and that doesn't work.
Look at the gap here. That's not 2.5 seconds. No. He's recovered well, Tim Geiser, after that mistake, after hitting that blown-out berm. A lap ago, he is all over the back of Paul's Jonas, and as we said at the start of the day, 4 points separating them coming into this race. He finds his way 7 at the moment. He will pull back 3 points. So it's all to play for here.
It looks like Geiser has the upper hand because he looks like he's focused a bit more and going faster into the corners and taking different lines and not taking the easy route, taking the deep bumps. But that's the quickest. Now he can pass him. Now he could.
And the thing with the Honda, you know it's alongside you. Oh, he's taking a look.
Oh, nice.
Will he try to? No, he won't try to go around the outside. It's too long. But as you said, Tim Geiser is the rider that has the upper hand at the moment. Sometimes it's a lot easier to follow than it is to lead the race, especially when you've never led or won a never won a race, like Paul's Jonas has not won a race in MX2 before. Geiser, he's won 3. He's looking at picking up his 4th moto win of the year. Got 4 Grand Prix victories as well, the same as Jeffrey Hurling's had before he got injured. But what a great crowd. And they're putting on a great show for them as well. The racing here, the battle for the World Championship with 2 rounds plus the remainder of this race and another race to come. And Geiser, he was just too deep there. That had shades of Sweden written all over it.
Absolutely.
He was off the bike in Sweden, almost off the bike again down the back
And
straight.
now he's past them.
And now he goes through. And look how confident and mature, actually, Paul Jonas was there. He says, you know what, I'm not getting involved. You want to come, if you want to take that bigger risk, in the risk of going down, you can have it, because these things will sort themselves out, maybe.
Yeah.
But we are talking crunch time in the World Championship, Jan Postema.
No doubt.
Can he afford to give away 3 points?
I'm a bit surprised. This is already 50 meters difference.
Can you afford to give away 3 World Championship points?
I wouldn't give away.
When it is so tight?
I wouldn't give away anything. But if he doesn't feel, he says, okay, this is not my day, and he's like, concentration-wise, 2% off, and he goes like, okay, second is fine. Leave the second. It's always better than a 5th because you're crashing.
Wake up, fight. That's the mechanic.
That's what I would say.
That's the mechanic saying, come on, get it on there. And look at that, 4.97, 4.96. Jonas will have a 1-point lead going into race 2. Geiser is having an impressive season. So too is Jonas, of course. Not expected to maybe even be in the top 3, maybe not the top 5 in the championship at the start of the year. Top 8 maybe is what he put his goal down to. But at the demise of Jeffrey Hurling's getting injured, he's found himself leading the championship the last 2 rounds. And Tim Geiser, well, he is riding in the sand better than I've seen him ride in a long time, because in the sand in Lommel, he was 5th and 7th.
It looks like he's a happy camper. He's just like playing in the sand, enjoying the bike, enjoying the ride.
Latvia, he was 7th and 4th. Obviously, the sand not as deep here, but just showing that maybe sand is weaker, you know, riding surface preference. But look at Thomas Covington here in 5th place. Monster Energy Kawasaki, good in qualifying yesterday, putting in a decent performance as well here. That gap ever so slightly coming down between him and Harry Kulas, but Harry Kulas still not able to do anything about it. 1 or 2 tenths in it in terms of lap times each way between them over the last few laps, but Covington doing a good job anyway. So too Harry Kulas.
A great job. Maybe because he cut his hair. He was going way faster because of that.
Yeah,
you never
less
know.
drag.
That's exactly.
So let's give you a quick rundown. Top 15 or so here, as Covington still coming under attack from the 151 of Harry Kulas. Geiser leads, Jonas 2nd, Lieber 3rd, Donink 4th, Covington is 5th. That's this guy here in green. The guy behind him in white, Harry Kulas, is in 6th place on the white Husqvarna. 7th is David Puches, 8th Benoit Paturel of France, 9 Max Anstey, 10 Brian Borgers, 11 Seawer, 12 Monticelli, 13 Jacobi. Ben Watson is 14th for Hitachi Revo KTM. 15th is Karel Kutsar, 16 is Valentin Guillot, 17 Jordan Booker, Anton Lundgren, Thomas Wysocki and Vagislev Golovkin in the points. Petr Petrov down in 22nd place, look. He was up front for a few laps. But Covington just being bounced around. Has he got what it takes? Can he stay the distance here and keep that factory Husqvarna behind him for the next 1.5 minutes plus 2 laps? Again, not the first time we've seen riders get out of shape through there, Jan Postema.
Oh, he's lucky there. He's on the gas. The moment he lands in the soil, he just kicks it. And that's what he needs to do. The moment you hit the...
Oh, another mistake. And Kulas is going to find a way through. He'll look to turn tight and go straight. Here we go. How many times have we seen that pass? But he was kind there. He turned it himself, even tighter. Did not want to take Thomas Covington out of the game there.
But yet you see more and more. There's no T-boning or whatever going on. They have respect. They know how difficult it is. Everybody has their struggle, and they really appreciate it.
Well, we'll have another look at that. Hard but fair. The move from, yeah, tried to keep it nice and low, didn't he? Knew it took him wide. And a hard but fair, or firm but fair pass there from Harry Kulas on Thomas Covington. Moves him up into 5th place now on the Will van der Staan factory Husqvarna.
Yeah, we also have all the kids from the academy here today, so they can look, they can see what the riders do, they can see the respect they have between each other. Also Covington went nice, he didn't kid it short.
Geiser is there. There's Lieber. Have we lost Jonas? Because Geiser, just here, 2:43. He must... Let's have a quick look here. Oh, there's Jonas in the background. So a mistake here from Geiser. Oh, all 3... Oh, there's Lieber behind them. That's Valentin Guillot being lapped. So Guillot in 16th, already being lapped then by Tim Geiser. And from his point of view, where a couple of weeks ago he was challenging for the title, his head must have just dropped right forward now.
Absolutely, yeah.
Seeing Tim Geiser going through, knowing that Pauls Jonas is here in second position, also about to lap him. Look, the 92, Valentin Guillot, riding with that damaged shoulder, slightly injured shoulder yesterday, picked up in the qualifying race. But having to try and pick up points here. Well, he is picking up points. He's 16th, Max Anstey's in 9th after falling, whilst in second or third place right at the start of the race, 3 or 4 laps in. 132, Karel Kutsar moving out of the way as 41, Jonas goes through in second. He's 5.3 seconds down, or he was 5.3 down over the line last time around behind Tim Geiser. Geiser already ran that far corner though.
You can see a lot of people, there's a lot of action going on with the blue flag, really pointing out that the leader or the second guy is coming. That's
Yeah, just to the
necessary
back
in this time,
markers.
because sometimes you don't get the line that you want. It's so much different in the speed.
Yeah.
And you get blown by sand so much, and the goggles get dirty, and sometimes they stick. It's really, really difficult.
What surprises me, Jan, is how many riders use laminate tear-offs in these wet, sandy conditions, because the sand is always, there's always a damp element to it, isn't there? I would have still chosen to use roll-offs, because you have that, you know, put some laminates over the top or some tear-offs over the top, but have that security of the roll-off underneath. But
I would do
nothing
that.
is foolproof, is it?
No, but on the other hand, you can put about 18 tear-offs on.
Yeah.
And if if you think, oh, I can get the whole shot,
Yeah.
and it's more comfortable.
Yeah. But you do
But
lose
still-
a little bit of visibility, don't you? Even with 18 laminates.
Yeah, you do lose a little bit. But hey, you should, in the sand, you shouldn't see everything. Because if you look at everything, you're not keeping your pin. So
Well,
it's different.
if you could see what this straight had to offer, you wouldn't want to go down.
Exactly.
There's Brent Van Donnick. Kimia Yamaha, Yamalube, 172 here. He's in 4th place. Only 2 seconds off of Julian Lieber. There is Lieber, so knocking on the door for a 3rd place finish here in the closing stages of this first MX2 race.
And he's looking strong. And the Yamaha's pulling, lifting it, keeping the body up.
Well, his teammate Damon Grelis had an impressive performance in the end of that European 250 race. He went from 4th to 1st in just over a lap. And obviously same bike, same team, but obviously different category. And Van Donnick could steal this, you know.
Yeah, you can make 4 seconds in 1 lap. On a hard pack, you would never be able to do it, but in the sand, you can take 4 or 5 seconds in 1 lap. And Van Donnick looks motivated.
Well, he's thinking about 3rd place. And,
absolutely, yeah.
you know, because 3rd is better than 4th in terms of it's a little bit closer to the podium as well if you get another good ride in 2nd, Moto.
Yeah.
So, on to the final lap then. Geiser only 2.4 seconds clear of Jonas. Does Jonas have something up his sleeve? Look at the lap. 147.3 for Geiser, a 43.4 for Jonas.
Yeah.
So again, that just goes to show, doesn't it? You know, 4 seconds difference in 1 lap between Geiser and Jonas. Obviously a slight mistake from our race leader here, Tim Geiser. Well, this will be a big win for him because, like we say, so far in the sand this year, he missed Valkensoir because he had that big crash in the qualifying race when he was, you know, over the handlebars towards the finish line jump. Didn't do well in Latvia, didn't do well in Lommel.
But it's also danger in the end. Last 2-3 laps with the clutch, because often guys use a lot of clutch.
Here's 1st place here.
Yeah.
Here's 2nd place. 3rd at the top of the straight is Lieber and Van Donnick. So all 4 guys less than 10 seconds apart. But he's definitely got his race face on, hasn't he, Tim Geiser? The Garibaldi Honda rider, he knows he is in the perfect position to challenge for the world title.
He still works the track a lot. He's really working the track. Back markers get out of the way. Awesome, really good and nice to see.
He actually looks more relaxed today as well. He was fighting the bike a little bit yesterday. It took him a long time to get through traffic. But Tim Geiser looking good here. He bided his time. From the start of the race, he was not in a hurry. That's probably the only mistake he's made there, just going in too early, too deep in that corner. But coming out of the final corner, the checkered flag being readied. It's a massive win for Tim Geiser. He knows it as well. He's got the World Championship down to a point between himself and Pauls Jonas. Jonas coming home in 2nd, 4.4 seconds down. Lieber 3rd, and the Kimia Yamaha. Brent Van Donnick comes home in 4th. The top 4 separated by 10.6 seconds. But an impressive performance from Tim Geiser. Likewise for Harry Koulas, who come home in 5th. Thomas Covington, a great result for him in 6th. And then Benoit Paturel, we wait for him to come through in 7th. And it should be Puches, Anstey and Siwa, your top 10. Of course, we'll confirm all of that in just a moment. But Jan Postema, just really quickly, your thoughts on that first MX2 race?
Very impressive. I mean, the energy the guys have to do, the speed they have, and the control. How nice back markers, everybody's paying attention. This is just amazing sport and amazing sportivity as well.
And what about Max Anstey? A very expensive result for him. 9th, it's going to be 12 points. That gap is going to be massive between, well, it's almost 30 points, almost 40, well, 50 points, isn't it? 449 and 496. So big expensive day in the first race. But that can all change in race 2. It can all come back his way. But
now he has 2 guys in front that are hard to beat.
Yes.
Before he was like a little closer, but now it's like 2 guys.
Well, anyway, we're getting ready to speak to Tim Geiser. He's down there getting ready to speak to Lisa Leyland. Let's hear what our race winner has to say.
Tim Geiser, wow, where did that speed come from in the sand? Fantastic race from you.
Yeah, actually I have a better start, much better start at the yesterday qualification race. I know that I have speed if I start in front because, you know, it's not easy to pass, but anyway, I'm really happy with the first race. Hopefully the second will go the same, and I just want to say thank you to all my team, all my family, my father, my brother. Thank you guys.
Brilliant job. Thanks, Tim.
Tim Geiser picking up his 4th race win of the season then for Garibaldi Honda. And what a way to do it as well. Catching and passing his main championship rival, Paul Jonas, and pulling clear by 4.5 seconds. And him and Jonas have pulled almost 50 points now on Max Anstey, who came home in 9th. Confirmation then of the result from race 1. Tim Geiser, your winner. Jonas coming home in 2nd. 3rd for Julian Lieber. 4th, Brent Van Donnick. 5th for Harry Kulas. Covington was 6, Patrell 7, Puches 8, Anstey 9, and Siwa was 10. Bogus, Jacobi, Monticelli, Watson, and Guillot coming home in 15th, ahead of Kutsar, Lundgren, Wisocki, Golovkin, and Lapucci. No points for Petar Petrov. Jan Postema, we just saw a moment ago there, the slow-mo towards the end there. Tim Geiser, the eyes, the focus, the concentration. It said it all, didn't it?
It's absolutely the eye of the tiger. I mean, if you're not the tiger out there, you have no chance.
And look at the championship.
Fighting.
Jonas now just 1 point clear of Geiser. Anstey almost 50 points back now. Has that crash signaled the end of his World Championship hopes? Still 5 races to go. He will be giving it his all, that's for sure, but he will be very, very annoyed with himself after that race. That might have just been a simple mistake, and it might have come because he was pushing too hard at that particular part of the racetrack.
Everybody knows Max. He's pulling all the way. He's pushing all the way. He's really, and he's going to be upset. I mean, his nights to sleep are going to be short and painful, but second moto, hope he can pull it off and be a bit lucky.
Well, either way, it was great action out on track, and it was good for the crowd as well. But let's just recap on what happened in race 1. Well, the gate dropped, and it was Davy Puches and Paul Jonas who charged the line, but it was Puches who got the foxhole shot on his Red Bull KTM. Anstey ran wide in 3rd. Jonas was there in 2nd, and Geiser just hovering around the top 5 or 6 positions behind Thomas Covington here. Closest to us in red. Julian Lieber right there as well. The Puches was caught by his teammate Jonas, and by the end of the straight, as Puches went over to the right, ducking his head was Jonas to avoid the roost, and that was the pass that got him into the lead. Anstey was there in 3rd place, made this pass to go into 2nd, and not long after that, actually, Puches made a slight mistake that pushed him down the order a few positions. There was the mistake, just coming through the rhythm section, got it completely wrong, almost looked like he landed in neutral as well, didn't have any drive, and that forced him off the side of the track. But That allowed Tim Geiser to close in, and Geiser all of a sudden started to charge. He found his way past Puches on his Honda Garibaldi machine. He then went after Julian Lieber on the standing construct Yamaha. Anstey, though, that is the talk of the race. He fell from second position, could not get the bike started. He rejoined the race in around 17th place, just behind Ben Watson. And he eventually came home in 9th place. But they were your top three at around about the halfway stage as Anstey carved his way past Jeremy Seewer to gain another position. The top three riders of Jonas, Lieber and Geiser were all less than 3 seconds apart as we entered the second half of the race. Valentin Guillot, riding with an injured shoulder, made this mistake and ran off track, and Guillot eventually came home in 15th on his standing construct Yamaha Yamalube machine. Davide Bonini disappeared. He'll be hoping for better in race 2, but Lieber in second on the standing construct Yamaha, and Geiser in third as Anton Lundgren fell just behind them, blown over by the wind of the two guys that just sped past him. That was the mistake from Lieber that allowed Geiser up into second, who took no prisoners with that pass. That put him second and right onto the rear wheel of Paul's Jonas. He made this mistake here, ran too wide, trying to avoid following a back marker. But 2 laps later, he was back on the rear wheel of Jonas, who was not completely clean through that rhythm section. And the pass came at the end of the straight. And that was Geiser through into the lead, and eventually came home to win, 4.5 seconds clear. But the battle behind them for 5th place was between Harry Kulas and Thomas Covington. Kulas just going through on the American at the end of the pit straight. Geiser had 1 or 2 little moments out on track, but he was able to keep it up on 2 wheels and take his 4th race win of the season. And he's now got the championship down to 1 point between him and Jonas. At the start of the race, though, it was the foxhole shot, and it was Davy Puches who took his first foxhole shot of his career in MX2. This is how he did it. More than a bike length clear of Jonas and Anstey as the rest of the pack came charging through. And Davy Puches picking his foxhole shot award up from Alfred Gieritz. Tonkov has 6, Herlings has 6, Anstey has 6. Right, thank you to Jan Postema for joining us here, and I'm sure we'll see him again at some point, but let's have a look at some of the ambient moments. Well, that was MX2 all wrapped up in race 1. Join us in just a few moments for MXGP race 1. Hope you can join us then. It should be just as enthralling as MX2 was.